One of the main points that Robert Reich makes in his essay, The Rise of the Working Poor, is that in contrast to the past, present day Americans who fall within the category of poor or who fall beneath the poverty line are oftentimes also employed. He establishes this claim early on in the essay, as soon as paragraph 3, and he does so by including some detailed statistics. And I just wanted to take a moment to hone in on some of those statistics because if you're a person who's not used to reading a lot of text that includes data points, there are some things that you might miss. So I want to start with the highlighted sentence. Reich writes, the downward trend of low wages continued even in the so-called recovery following the Great Recession. Between 2010 and 2013, average incomes for the bottom fifth dropped 8%, and their wealth declined 21%. So the sort of topic sentence in that arrangement is the yellow sentence, that there's a downward trend in wages, and that happens after the Great Recession. If you don't remember what the Great Recession was, it was the housing bubble that burst in the late 2008 on forward. Notice that following the topic sentence or the main point in yellow, we get two specific examples. The first example is that there's a drop in income. So those folks who, percentage wise, their wages are the lowest fifth and a statistical data point, their wages dropped 8%. Similarly, the wealth of the same group of people, those people who are in the bottom fifth of wage earners, their wealth drops 21%. So, what's the difference there between income and wealth? Well, income refers to the money that a person receives in their paycheck, either weekly or biweekly. Wealth has to do with um, anything that you might have an investment in. So, if you own property, if you own a condo or a house or a car, um, or any kind of savings that you might have, right? That would also be considered wealth. So not only are their incomes declining, but their wealth is also declining. And wealth is declining more significantly. So we can, knowing what we know about that period of time, it probably means that these individuals, as a result of the recession and as a result of the housing crisis, many of them were losing their homes. As a result, their overall wealth was declining. Reich then follows up with another statistic. He talks about the amount of Americans who make use of food pantries. And he states that more than half of the 46 million people who use food banks in 2013 were people who were also employed, right? So he doesn't give us the exact number, which is important to point out. How much is slightly more than half? Is it significantly more than half, or is it just a little bit more than half? How is that different from the past, right? So these are the sort of questions that we want to ask ourselves whenever we're confronted with statistics. One of the questions you'll be asked to consider in the discussion board post this week is, what is the story the statistics Reich includes telling, and do you interpret the statistics in the same ways that he does?